Hi, this is Joe again with another. Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing Wrestlemania 35, which took place on April 7th, 2019. So it's the and then this year's Wrestlemania 36 is the most recent Wrestlemania that I have seen, and it took place in MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the home of the New Jersey Jets and the New Jersey Giants. They're not New York teams anymore, folks. They have been for a very, very long time. They're the New Jersey teams. Because any team that does not play their home games within the state of New York is not a New York team. I don't give a shit. Of course, this show, I should mention, was recently broadcast on ESPN. It was on for 4 hours. And the problem is that they cut out at least 2 matches. They didn't air the U.S. Championship match and the Intercontinental Championship matches. Those 2 matches on the card they did not show. And if you're going to show or have an encore presentation of WrestleMania, I don't care which WrestleMania it is, it doesn't matter. It could be this year, WrestleMania 36, or WrestleMania 1, or WrestleMania 20. It doesn't matter. You gotta show, if you have got the rights to rebroadcast a WrestleMania, you gotta show all the matches. I don't give a damn. But the problem is that these matches, at least in the last, let's say, 20 years or so, at least since the Attitude Era, these matches have gone on WrestleMania have gone way too damn long. And I'm not saying they're not good matches. I am not saying that they're bad matches. I'm saying that they go way too long. It's way too long, folks. For my generation, because I grew up in the 80s, and when wrestling was, nobody, I don't think anybody at the time really cared how long the matches would go, as long as it was a good match, and it told a good story. I mean, you can tell just as much of a good story out of a 10-minute match as you can out of a 45 or 50-minute match. Because I think ever since the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels 1 hour match they had, I think back at WrestleMania, I think WrestleMania 14, I think it was, or WrestleMania 12, over the hell, no, I think it was WrestleMania 12. Just about every WrestleMania since then, the matches have gone longer and longer and longer, because that was such a classic match that now wrestling fans demanded they have those matches just as long and just as good quality as that match, and it doesn't work. And it doesn't matter. I mean, unless if it's a stipulation for a match to go that, as long as that one did, it makes no sense to have every single match go at least between 30 and 45 minutes. I mean, it's way too long, way too padded. The matches are way too padded out, and that's why in WrestleMania 36, they divided up the show into 2 nights. And because these matches go way too long, and they always end up cutting a match out. It was supposed to be a part of the card because these matches go way too long. And ESPN did that. I mean, they cut out matches. They rebroadcast the most recent WrestleManias to help hype WrestleMania 36. And the problem is they don't show the entire card. So, oh wow, cool! You can see more recent WrestleMania. Because of the fact that I'm not subscribed to the WWE Network. I know there's no real DVDs unless I go to, let's say, Best Buy and buy the DVD. Nobody rents DVDs anymore. That's the guy from download from Netflix. Nobody rents DVDs anymore. So I used to rent the DVDs and then maybe do a review on in recent years. I haven't rented WrestleMania since WrestleMania, I think maybe WrestleMania 11. And how long ago was that? I mean, it was like 95, 96, when you had that stupid match with Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor was the end of the match, at the end of the night. So, but, and now we're getting on a tangent here, but these matches go way too long, and I used to enjoy waiting for the video to come out and rent the video and watch it. Now you can't do that anymore because there's no more video stores anymore. So I mean, it's really hard to watch these shows because it's not complete. I mean, it's great that that some network is broadcasting this stuff. Or like Fox Sports 1 recently showed this year's Royal Rumble, on the 2020 Royal Rumble, and they didn't show the complete thing. I mean, come on. I mean, because they only have like a certain time slot. They have it on for a certain amount of hours, and unfortunately, these shows now they don't go 3.5 hours anymore, or 4 hours. Now it's like more like 5 or 6 hour shows, and so like ESPN and Fox Sports, they cut the stuff down to fit the 4 hour time slot they have, and so ESPN cut out 2 championship matches, which is ridiculous, or lesser titles. All right, now get to the regular card. The first match of the night was actually the Universal Championship, with Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, who was the Universal Champ. And this match was, I mean, the matches they were showing, they were pretty decent matches, but this match was a pretty decent, at least on the ESPN broadcast. This match was maybe 15 or 20 minutes long, which is perfect. It was perfect for me, because I like a match that's not an hour-long match. I mean, I don't need to see an long match, because the shorter the matches, the more matches you can get on WrestleMania. And this match was not terribly long. I thought it was quite good. Brock Lesnar jumped Seth Rollins before the bell. They were fighting for like about 2 minutes before the officials ring the bell, and they could have easily disqualified Brock Lesnar for jumping Seth Rollins. They were beating him up for about like good 2 or 3 minutes. But that's the stupid plot. The referee's always in on, and so they let him continue fighting before the bell rang. And of course, as soon as they get into the ring, the referee said, "Okay, ring the bell." And now it was officially on, and the match went on for about, I think, another 10 minutes or so, and Seth Rollins pulls out the win. The other match they had on early as well, they had The Miz versus Shane McMahon in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, this was a very long match, and this is one of my pet peeves in recent WrestleManias, is that the matches go way too long. And this one had a good story where Shane McMahon was getting really personal with The Miz and his family, taunting The Miz's father. Even at one point in the match, The Miz's father came out. He had a seat at ringside, goes over the barrier, and so he wants to fight with Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon was starting to beat up on his father, or knocked his father down. And here goes The Miz, and he comes in and jumps Shane McMahon, and they get into a good fight, and they're jumping around all over the place. And there was one point when they won like a tower for the television camera, so again like a real high spectacle of the, like, you get a good crowd shot, for the pay-per-view. And they jumped about maybe like 15 feet down to the bottom for a suplex or a superplex. And the way The Miz held Shane McMahon, cleared his head and his arms so he wouldn't break Shane's neck. If you want to see what I'm talking about, you can see there's a show whose Wrestling Secrets revealed, and how they do particular moves so they won't injure the opponent, or intentionally hurt the opponent. Because actually stuff go wrong in wrestling, or a guy could slip, or they're all sweated up and they could slip out of the hole and injure themselves accidentally. So, but where Shane landed, he was actually on top of The Miz, and the referee actually counted 1, 2, 3, and The Miz lost to Shane McMahon. And a lot of fans thought there was a rip-off because of the way, it happens. Hey, it just happened to come out that way, and I think it was also part of the script as well. So the fans thought they got hosed because they wanted Shane to, of course, lose. One of the other matches I should mention is the retirement match for Kurt Angle. Before I get to the other retirement match, one of the matches they did, a championship match, I should say, and what is the last match that Kurt Angle did, because he was in WWF for like even though he said he was wrestling for 20 years, but they forgot for a few years he actually left the WWF to go to not AEW because it was brand new. It's been around for like maybe a year now, but or not, or TNA, or not, or TNA wrestling, or not, or non-stop wrestling, whatever the other promotion. The Hulk Hogan was in there for a while. Sting was in there. He was in that total non-stop action wrestling. They had Samoa Joe in there. As a matter of fact, Samoa Joe, that was one of the matches that was cut in the ESPN broadcast. The one with Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio for the I think the Intercontinental Championship match. And so he wasn't in the WWE for 20 years. So I want to make that point clear. But he did have a 20-year career, and I guess because he had enough. Well, who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, Kurt Angle will come back like Edge did. Come back. And of course, Edge came back this year, and I think he lost this year. I think so. I'm not sure. And of course, Kurt Angle lost his match to. I think he lost to Randy Orton. So I thought it was a pretty good match between those two guys. Even though Kurt Angle lost, I thought they put on a pretty decent show for the fans in the Meadowlands. Of course, the other championship match that they had was with Kofi Kingston, and I forgot the other champ that Daniel Bryan. Of course, this is when Kofi Kingston won the WWF. I still call it World Wrestling Federation, folks. I don't care. The World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. And Kofi Kingston did enough. And many people thought that Kofi Kingston was meant. And they did show backstage with a lot of the babyface wrestlers in the back. Was watching the match of honor. They're all cheering for Kofi Kingston because they wanted him to, to win, which of course he eventually does. And I thought that was a decent match. And even though I knew now. I knew at the time that Kofi Kingston was going to win. I knew that Seth Rollins would win. And so it's not a big shock. I just didn't know the other matches that they presented. I didn't really know the storylines going into the matches because it's pretty much fallen off of wrestling. Because it's not as good as it was, let's say, 30 years ago. Or 35 years ago when I first started watching wrestling. It's not as good as it was. I mean, they told better stories back then. The storylines went longer. You have better matches, and you don't need a 30, 40-minute match or 45-minute match that you do now. You don't need it. You didn't need it back then. But now everybody didn't like the 10-minute matches that you normally would see on TV, or even a 5-minute match. They don't want to see no 5-minute matches. They want to see a 50-minute match. Because they're paying a lot of money, to see a championship match, and that's like 10 minutes, and they feel like it's ripped off if they pay. I mean, wrestling tickets aren't cheap, like anything else, and they just didn't want to see a 10-minute or 5-minute championship match with Hulk Hogan versus, let's say, Andre the Giant. They didn't want to see a 5-minute match with those two guys. They want to see a 20, 30, 40-minute match with those two guys. But I think it's totally wrong to have a match that long. You can have a quality match for 10 minutes, folks. I mean, I don't care. I don't know what's with this wrestling fans. You gotta have a 45-minute match. But the match was good for what it was. But of course, this and Kofi Kingston, I should mention, it didn't let him. He had the belt for maybe half the year, 2019. I think by Survivor Series he lost the championship match by then. But that was like a surprising champ because it wasn't one of these big, strong guys. It's got to be like a little skinny guy like Kofi Kingston. And it's kind of like the view I did with Creed 2 when Adonis Creed wins the championship. You know, because he doesn't have the size of, let's say, Evander Holyfield or Muhammad Ali or George Foreman. You know, those bigger, more muscular type guys. And that's how I feel about Kofi Kingston. And I'm not disrespecting Kofi Kingston at all. I just said he's no more of a high-flying champ than maybe this big, strong, muscular guys. Of course, WrestleMania 35 is more famous for having the a women's main event. But even though you had at least two title changes already during this WrestleMania, they also didn't have the tag team title. Unless it was a dark. I think it was like a dark match. You didn't have that. They didn't show on ESPN. I should say did not show the other two championship matches, which I mentioned already. But WrestleMania 35 was known for having a women's main event, which she never had in WrestleMania. True, you had women's matches before, even in the early days of WrestleMania. You had women's matches. At least in the very first two WrestleManias, you had one women's match. You had Randy Richter versus Liana Kai for the women's title, and WrestleMania 2, you had a real crappy match with Randy Richter. Not Randy Richter. Fabulous Moolah winning a match in like maybe a minute, maybe like not even a minute, or less than 2 minutes. You had Fabulous Moolah winning a ladies women's match in WrestleMania 2. But since you had the divas, like with Trish Stratus and Lita and all those other women during the Attitude Era, and then you have now you have a women's championship match just about every year, either a divas match or a WWE championship match, or both. Now I think you just have the Raw championship match and you have the SmackDown championship, and that's what you had in this one. You have a triple threat match. You had 3 women in there. And technically, it's supposed to. I think it was supposed to have been Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, and each one was supposed to be a champion, and to unify the championship at WrestleMania. And of course, we all know this was going to be Ronda Rousey's last match in the WWE, because she left after this. I mean, she was in the WWE for a year, and there was a lot of hype behind her because it was the first mainstream woman athlete in the MMA to come into the WWF. And what happened was that she decided to leave because she had enough, I guess. And they had this triple threat match because they put Charlotte Flair in there, and Becky Lynch won both titles. I think eventually she had to give up one. Last year, remember she had to give up one. Or she eventually lost one and lost one of them and kept the other one. But I thought this was a very, very good match. I thought the women did put on a show, and you could tell that this match also, like we complained about all the other matches in this show, went way, way too damn long. This match could have been over in about maybe 15. They could have done like maybe a 15-minute match. It would be just as, or even maybe even a 10-minute match. It would be just as good, just as entertaining, and told just as good of a story. But they decided, in this generation, this day and age, everything has to be padded out. And I mean, and I'm saying it wasn't a bad match or the greatest match ever. I'm not going to say that, but they have to, to me, in my opinion, to make the WWE better. They have, or the pay-per-views better, they have to cut down these matches to not be constantly 45 or 50-minute matches. They have to cut the time down to at least maybe 20 minutes. Because these matches going way too long. And that's why in WrestleMania 36 they divide up the card, because it's too long. The matches go way too long, and they have to, I guess they get tired of cutting out matches because of how long these matches go. They say, hey guys, you're in control of the time of these matches, folks. Vince McMahon, if you haven't been watching this video, your company could control how long these matches can go in your pay-per-views. If you guys could tell these wrestlers that you're not going to have a 45-minute matches anymore in these pay-per-views, it comes down to like maybe no longer than 25 or 30 minutes, or even 20 minutes. Between 20 and 25 minutes should be long enough for a match. And if you go beyond that, the match is going to end right then and there, and you're not going to get a shot in the next pay-per-view or the next WrestleMania or whatever if you don't cut down the time of your matches. Then the WrestleManias would be a lot better, and you get a lot more matches in. And like back in the old days, when WrestleMania had a single number in front of it, They used to have 12 matches on the court. Even WrestleMania 4, with the championship tournament, you had about 17, I think about 16, 17 matches on that court in one night. And the thing ended like after 9 o'clock at night. Because the show also started much earlier. So if they did the shows like they did back in most of the 80s, I'm talking from WrestleMania 3 to about maybe WrestleMania 10 or 11, when the shows you saw at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then maybe you go from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Because then maybe you get all the matches. But if they started at 7 o'clock and they ended at 1 o'clock in the morning, people are going to complain over that. So start WrestleMania earlier. 3 hours. If they started 3 hours earlier at 4 o'clock, maybe they did back in the 80s, then you could get all your matches in. I feel. So let me review WrestleMania 35. Please click on the video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video to your Facebook pages. And check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com, so WDY. And then c.com is a homepage rally reviewer, Christy Moore. And please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.